Hello guys, welcome to Screencast Exercise Physiology A2 for the new topic, which is going to be muscular strength. So the last topic we looked at, which is quite a while ago now, probably before Christmas, was aerobic capacity, and it's very similar to that. Okay, in terms of the components that you will be required to answer for the exam. So first things we have to do is we have to have a definition of terms. You have to be able to, there's 5 different types of strength. Each type of strength has a direct measurement for it. So basically, you know, if you try, well, I'll go through that in a second. Other things we have to look at is we have to be able to describe the factors that affect strength, and then what we'll look at the food, fuel, and energy systems after the second lesson on this, and we also need to have a look at the different types of training that you can use to develop the different types of strength. Okay, so what we'll have a look at then. First up, I need you for tomorrow. We're really going to focus on this kind of types of strength and also describing each method of evaluating strength or measuring. So these are your types of strength then. First up, what I need you to do for tomorrow, your core now note should basically look at identifying the different types of strength and then giving a definition. Now what I'm going to do here is I've underlined the bits that I think are most important. What we're going to say then is that first of all you've got maximum strength. Okay, so this then basically the key thing you're going to need in your definition is maximum force the neuromuscular system can exert in a single repetition or contraction. Okay, so that is the stuff you can do, your maximum lift. So if I just said to you now, maximum strength, how are you going to define this? Well, maximum is going to be the first thing. So easy, maximum, maximum. Maximum force, you have to use the word neuromuscular pretty much in every definition, and the neuromuscular system can exert in a single contraction. That's what we're looking for. How do you measure it? Well, you might have seen this before, you'll certainly have seen it by the end of this unit, is that people work out your maximum strength by the maximum amount of weight you can lift for one repetition. So you build up the weight intensity until you get to a point you can only lift 1 rep. Okay, so you can do that in bench press, you can do it in squat. We'll probably do it on bench press and have a go at that at some point during this unit. Next thing we're looking at then is static strength. Now it is pretty much what it says there. If something is static, there is no movement in the muscle. So what it's saying here then, the force exerted by the neuromuscular system, exactly the same force, neuromuscular, okay, while the muscle length remains constant or the same length. So we know that from static. You might have kind of termed it isometric at GCSE, for example. That's what you need to do for here. So static strength, all same start, but when the muscle length remains constant, all the same. Next one then, explosive or elastic strength. Now this is, and the key bit here, is the ability of the neuromuscular system to apply force, again, quickly for high intensity movements for short periods of time. So if you don't want to put quickly, if that feels a little bit clumsy, the ability to apply force for high intensity movements over a very short period of time. So that's basically the kind of things that you do when you jump for a header in football, okay, when you jump for a line out in rugby, okay, when you jump off the blocks in swimming, so you know, jump up for a layup in basketball. These are all examples of explosive or elastic strength. Now obviously here the bits at the end tell you how you measure it. So static strength, there's no real measure for that, there's no official measure. Explosive elastic strength then, that can be measured by the vertical or broad jumps. So you'll have seen that before. When you stand by the side of the wall, you jump up and reach a target on the wall and it will tell you how far you've jumped. You will get a rating on how good your explosive or elastic strength is. Okay, from there then, next one, dynamic strength. So this one again, so a neuromuscular system, and the key thing here is to overcome a resistance with a high speed of contraction. Now this is done on something called a Wingate cycle test, okay, which basically a weight is added to a cycle ergometer, and when you're on the cycle, you keep riding it and you have more weights put on it and you go explosively as fast as you can against a resistance, which is the weight that's put onto the kind of bike where you're pedaling. Okay, and that is kind of an example of dynamic strength. So dynamic, probably the more tricky one out of everything, I would say, to overcome a resistance with a high speed of contraction, and it's the Wingate test to test it. So, going on from there, strength endurance, ability of the muscles to sustain and withstand repeated muscle contraction. So, if you wanted to say the ability of the neuromuscular system to sustain and withstand repeated muscle contractions. So, this can be done by, I think you've had like you might have done it before, the sit-up bleep test. You might have a minute press-up test. These are examples of tests that can be used to measure them. So, moving on from that, then, they're your types of strength. Your core now notes will have 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, plus you have a little bit of information about them here. You might have an EG on it. Then your questions need to have your definition in it, so when you come into the lesson tomorrow you feel good at answering those. Now going on from there, we'll go first up then, so some terminology that's associated with strength training you're going to need to have for tomorrow. Firstly, repetitions. Okay, so this refers to, when we look at the different types of training, you will need to know these. So repetitions, sets, resistance. So if you can just get a little note of those, what it means. For some of you it'll be very easy, for other people you might not have a clue about this. So this is what you would need to have. So on here is stuff we'll be looking at, is your training types. So ultimately for now I'm just going to go back to the big picture, define the types of strength and describe methods of evaluating each type. When you come in tomorrow I will give you some factors affecting strength. Okay, so factors affecting strength, we'll have a look at these repetition, sets, resistance guidelines, and then we'll set up your next lesson, which is going to be a little bit of a practical look at the different types of strength training. Now, I think, importantly, make sure when you're looking at your coursework now, you might be able to get a little bit more specific with your definitions of strength. Okay, it's not just strength at A2. You would need to say which strength you think was evident when you were given it as a strength or a weakness. Okay, thank you.